I'd like to show you a new service product that Honeywell is currently introducing to the HVAC industry. A universal integrated furnace control. It works with line voltage hot surface ignition equipped single stage gas furnaces and replaces most controls originally installed by the OEM. Over the years, manufacturers have built millions of furnaces with an integrated control similar to this one. Today, it's the most popular way to provide safety and automatic operation for residential gas heating. And that fact isn't necessarily good news to technicians called upon to service these heating systems. It can be difficult to find the correct replacement board when it becomes necessary to replace one. The best you can hope for is to wait while one's ordered from the factory. And in some cases, the replacement won't be available anywhere, even from the factory. That's where a universal replacement pays off. We've all seen the benefit of stocking universal replacements such as Honeywell's Tradeline and Super Tradeline gas valves and electronic ignition modules. You've always got the parts you need to get a system up and running on your first trip to the job. Now you can expect to get some of those same benefits when dealing with furnace controls. Let's get to specifics. It controls a line voltage hot surface igniter to directly light the main burner in a gas furnace or other gas-fired heating appliance originally designed for an integrated furnace control. It works with single-stage heating and cooling and either natural or LP gas systems. It uses electronic flame rectification to monitor the burner flame. The heart of the device is a microprocessor that controls all safety and sequencing operations. It monitors the air-proofing switch, the high limit, and rollout switches. It controls a standard induction-type multi-speed fan motor. Wiring adapters are included to make the electrical connections to most furnaces. For advanced systems, it has the Envirocom communication capability to enable reporting system status, diagnostics, troubleshooting information, and HVAC system control. LEDs on the board show system status, performance, and diagnostic information. Now, let's think for a minute how you might take advantage of this new device. If you service just one brand of gas furnaces, you can probably maintain stock on the furnace control that manufacturer uses. But if you service a number of brands, it probably makes sense for you. Rather than carrying a big inventory or making your customers wait while the replacement comes from the factory, you can become an expert on the use of this versatile replacement furnace control. Let's see how it works. Here's a sequence of operation graphic. We'll go through it step by step. First, on a call for heat, the control does a self-check to make sure it's working okay and is ready to start the burner. Then it checks to see that the limit switch is closed, that the rollout switches are closed, and the air-proofing pressure switch is open. If that all checks out, the inducer motor is powered up and the control starts looking to see if the pressure switch closes, proving airflow. At that point, a 30-second pre-purge starts, after which the hot surface igniter is turned on. The installer chooses the HSI warm-up period to best match the igniter on the furnace, 7 or 17 seconds. It provides a longer igniter warm-up on the second and third trials for ignition, 12 or 27 seconds. So if it doesn't light on the first try, the igniter is given a little longer to warm up so it gets a little hotter for subsequent tries. Now the gas valve is opened and the trial for ignition is started. Depending on what the installer has set, the trial lasts either 4 or 8 seconds. At the same time the valve opens, the 30 or 60-second fan on delay starts. If the burner flame is not detected on the first trial, 2 more tries will be made before the control goes into a 1-hour soft lockout. At the end of the call for heat, the gas valve is de-energized and there's a 15-second post-purge during which the inducer fan continues to run. The heating fan off delay can be set to 60, 90, 120, or 180 seconds when the control is installed, or at any point after installation, in order to improve comfort. For cooling, there's an automatic 5-second cooling fan on delay and the choice of a 0 or 60-second fan off delay. Let me show you up close where all these adjustments and connections are. Here are the familiar thermostat connections: Y, G, W, R, and C. It can also be controlled by an Envirocom thermostat, and those terminals are right here, 2, 3, and 1. And this connector is also for Envirocom, where you can plug in the OnWatch Quick Look 72 or some other diagnostic tool to read out flame signal and a possible fault condition. Here is the main harness plug that connects all the low voltage circuits, such as limits and gas valves. It also contains an optional flame sensor connection to detect flame. This fuse protects the board against shorts in any of the low voltage circuits. The 24-volt control circuit transformer output connects to the board here, and this is another connection option for the flame sensor on the burner. The line voltage connections are made here: heating, cooling, and continuous speeds for the fan, line voltage output to the transformer, and a place to power an electronic air cleaner, as well as the 120 line voltage input. 5 neutral terminals are provided to make it convenient to connect up all the line voltage circuits. This plug sends power to the inducer motor and the line voltage hot surface igniter. These terminals are for the humidifier and dummy terminals to park unused blower motor leads. At the center of the board are 3 LEDs, flame, status, and 1 to indicate Envirocom activity. These 4 dip switches control the heating and cooling fan on and off delays, and these 2 are for the safety timings, igniter warm-up and ignition timing. The lockout jumper permanently locks all the safety settings when it's removed. If it's not removed, timings become permanent after the 10th full cycle with the same setting. So make sure these timings are set correctly. Now let's see how you might use it on the job. We shot some footage while we did an installation on one of our training lab furnaces. Take a look at this. The first step is to check the application. Will this replacement work? The cross-reference in the technical literature tells that the board in this furnace is indeed one that can be replaced by the S9200U. The second column in the cross-reference shows which wiring harness to use. In this case, it's the one right here. That gives us a plug-in installation to speed up the job and eliminate the chance of a wiring error. The terminals on the old circuit board are most likely labeled with the name of the load they control. For instance, heat fan, cool fan, and so forth. If they're not, before removing the wires, label them, and you'll save yourself the trouble of tracing all the circuits when you go to put the new board in. In order to avoid bending or twisting force on the circuit board, it comes installed with a plastic mounting tray. Now you can mount the control in the blower compartment where the old control was. Here's the special harness for this furnace that connects the old plug to the new board, so we end up with a relatively simple plug-in wiring job. The draft inducer motor and the igniter are both line voltage loads that connect using this plug. The thermostat wires connect to traditional screw terminals. Finally, the lead from the flame detector hooks up right here. This is an optional connection for the flame detector. On this furnace, the flame detector lead goes to the 12-pin plug. That completes the wiring. The next step is to set the dip switches to get the right timings for our furnace. These 2 switches set the safety timings: igniter warm-up time and trial for ignition time. Igniter warm-up can be either 7 or 17 seconds for the first trial, with 12 or 27 seconds on trials 2 and 3. Trial for ignition can be either 4 or 8 seconds. Get these timings off the old control. The objective is to match these as close as possible without extending the safety timings of the original control. This set of 4 switches sets the fan on and off delay for heating and fan off delay for cooling.
And that's the whole job of using the Honeywell S9200U to replace a failed furnace control.
Of course, you'll want to do a complete checkout to make sure everything works right. The instructions help out by providing a sequence of operation flowchart to lead you through this process. Like other Honeywell universal replacement controls, it's a welcome addition to the truck stock of any technician working on residential gas heating equipment.